What's up, guys? Scott here from Uncapped Honeybees and Scotty Dog Customs coming to you from the shop. I have a little project that I want to show you guys that I'm working on, a little idea that I had. You know, we use these mason jars for feeders, you know, be it a quart jar or a half-gallon jar. And so I have come up with an idea for a tool to use to quickly and easily poke the holes in the lids. You know, I'm always worried about getting them too big. I don't want them too big and lose too much sugar, you know, get the hive wet or whatever. And but yet I don't want it too small. And so I've come up with an idea, and I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. So check this out. All right, so what I have here is I have a piece of wood that's roughly, I don't know, 3/8 to a 1/2 inch thick. It's 3/4 of an inch wide this way, and then it's probably about, I don't know, 8 inches long or so. The dimensions don't have to be perfect. It doesn't really matter. It just, you know, it has to be comfortable to hold, and that's all that really matters for this part. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use what I have been using to poke holes in the jars with, and that is a safety pin. And say this safety pin is, I'll show you guys the measurements. This is going to be about 1 7/8, you know, long here at the pin part. And so that's what I've been using. So it's not the small safety pin, it's the large one. But it kind of hurts your hand to do that. You know, it's kind of aggravating because it is a safety pin, and so they usually they flex, you know, this way. They're made to flex like this. And so I'm going to mount this thing in the wood, and I'm going to lay it on here with a little bit poking out here, just like this. And so that's kind of the measuring. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and make a mark right there on that where the end is going to be, okay? And so let me take that off of there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with one hand or not, but let me turn this around here. What I'll do is the whole part of this safety pin is about right here. This is about 1/4 of an inch, you know, for the whole thing. That whole circle is about 1/4 of an inch. So what I'll do is I'll come and the center is where I want the pin to stick through, right? So I'm going to drill a hole a little bit off center, like so, okay? And then I'm going to cut notches where the pencil marks are. So I'll drill a hole a little bit off center. That way the pin part sticks down the center of this. And so I'm going to drill that off camera because I don't have a tripod, and you know, I'm working a drill press. And so I want to be able to do this without having to hold a phone. I don't think I can do it with one hand. So I'll catch you after I drill this hole. I have drilled the hole. I did not drill it all the way through. I just drilled it part of the way through, probably about halfway through the little piece of board that I have here. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wood chisel, and I am going to make indentations, okay, right along those pencil marks with the hammer, just like so, okay? And then I'm going to follow that all the way through like this. I'm going to do it with the hammer though. And follow all that all the way down, and make the grooves. And so there again, don't have a tripod. Let me do this, and I'll get back with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to poke this in the grooves that I just made, okay? I know you can't hardly see this on camera because my hand is in the way, and I'm trying to do this one-handed. And so what I'm going to do is poke it in there just like so. Now, that is kind of riding in those grooves. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my hand off of this camera, and I'm going to use this same chisel that I used to groove it, and I'm going to continue to poke that all the way down in the hole and seat it very well. So what I have here is I've seated that. I just use the chisel there again to just seat that again. And as I turn this, you can see, you know, it's not all the way in, but it's a little bit in the groove there, and it's seated in that groove that I made. It's coming out there. And so what I'll do is I will come and cut this off with a pair of wire cutting pliers. But before I do that, I'm gonna take this piece of wood and I'm gonna cut it in half and bring that back on itself, make kind of a little sandwich, if you will. And I'm gonna glue it together and may run a couple of screws through it. So I'm gonna do that again off camera, and I'll come back. I cut that in half, and so this was used to be one piece about like that. And so then what I did, I was cut it in half, and so now it'll just lay on top of that right there, and it will make basically a square dowel that's a sandwich, okay, just like so. And that will be the tool. And so what I'll do is go and glue these two pieces together, okay? And so let's do this. Got the glue. I'm gonna just spread a little bit of glue on here like so. It does not hurt to go ahead and fill this hole and these grooves up with glue, because that'll harden and it'll just add some rigidity to that whole assembly. And so I'm gonna take this and put it on here like this and kind of move it around and spread the glue a little bit. Some people do this with like popsicle sticks and whatnot, but it's fine. I'm not making this to look very beautiful. I just want it to be functional. And so now what I'll do is I will clamp this thing together just like so. Make sure it doesn't move. And it's clamped, it's glued. I will probably not screw this together. I'll probably see how this works just as it is. Scrape this glue. You know, you could, if you wanted to, you could go about, you know, taking this and filing it or rasping it or putting it on, you know, the belt grinder and making all the edges smooth and nice and neat, and you could stain it and paint it and all sorts of things. But, you know, I'm not going to do that just because I just wanted to save time, and I don't care how it looks. I just want it to function. But the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this area right here and I'm going to just clip it off with wire cutters. I cut that off. As you can see, there's a little bit of knob sticking off of there where I cut it. So what I'll do is I'll just take it to the belt grinder. I'll grind that sharp edge off. That way I don't cut myself. So it's done as much as done as I want it to be, at least. You know, like I said, you could make it look a lot more pretty if you wanted to, if you care about that sort of thing. But I think this is going to be functional. If this winds up being too loose, which I don't think it will, I'm just poking through mason jar lids, then I will run a couple of screws through this. I'll drill a couple of pilot holes in that and screw it together. But I think the glue, once it dries, will hold just fine, because the pressure is not actually going to be on that joint itself, because of this this safety pin here, as you can see, is not flush with the joint. It is inset a little bit, and so that is actually not putting pressure on this joint itself. And so I think it's going to work just fine once it dries. But when it does, I will come and show you guys how it works. Stay tuned for the next video and I'll show you if it's a failure or if it's a success. We have some good content coming up, and so follow us. You can follow us on Facebook at Uncapped Honeybees. Follow us on Instagram at Uncapped Honeybees, and like and subscribe to this channel. Like the video, hit the bell for notifications, and get out there and do something. See ya.